National Geographic Learning is excited to introduce Reach into Phonics Foundations for Grade 3. My name is Robin Amrine, National Education Consultant for National Geographic Learning, and I will take you through this training module today. Reach into Phonics Foundations delivers systematic and explicit instruction in phonological awareness, phonics, high-frequency words, reading, and writing. Reach into Phonics Foundations is truly next-generation phonics and high-frequency word instruction using dynamic, engaging, and flexible resources that includes an abundance of built-in scaffolding and other supports for children in Grade 3. This session covers Grade 3 materials and instruction using Grade 3 slides. During this session, please refer to your 3rd grade Reach into Phonics Foundations Teacher Edition and supporting materials. If you are conducting this training session with the whole group, please take a few moments to frame your day. You may also pause the module to establish group norms of your training session. By the end of today's session, you will be able to understand the tiered intervention model, acquire knowledge of Reach into Phonics Foundations design and purpose, identify key program components and resources, understand the instructional path and lesson flow, experience hands-on practice with phonological awareness, phonics, and high-frequency word lessons, and use assessment tools to assess mastery and monitor students' progress. Our goal for this session is to increase your knowledge of Reach into Phonics Foundations Grade 3, so you are equipped to begin tomorrow using Reach into Phonics Foundations with your students. And now, to give things a little perspective, from G. Pinnell and I. Fontes, quote, "Teaching phonics and spelling is to teach concepts within classrooms where children constantly use oral and written language for authentic purposes." Close quote. And on a lighter note, a little something from the family circus. Why do I have to keep writing in these K's when they don't make any noise anyway? Just some phonics humor. We will now take a look at the program purpose of Reach into Phonics Foundations by highlighting 3 hallmarks of the program. First, Reach into Phonics Foundations provides explicit, sequential, and systematic instruction that is focused on foundational skills for students that need support in closing achievement gaps. Second, that these lessons can be used with one-to-one or small group instructional models. And the third hallmark is that Reach into Phonics Foundations can be used and should be used as Tier 2 instruction for students needing additional support outside of the core reading program. We will now take the opportunity to view the 3-tier approach. Tier 1, Intervention. Reach for reading as the core English Language Arts program. Quality core reading instruction along with small group instruction. Students who are identified as struggling or at risk can be placed in Tier 2. Tier 2 Intervention using Reach into Phonics Foundations. Students who need extra support to close achievement gaps as quickly as possible. This instruction is in addition to Tier 1 instruction. Tier 3 Intervention. For students that have not made adequate progress in Tier 2 intervention and need intensive interventions, this instruction is in addition to Tier 1 instruction. Let's take a look now at the intervention continuum as found within Reach into Phonics Foundations. As you can see, Tier 1 within the core reading program of Reach for Reading. The teacher will teach and apply skills within the whole group setting. Students will practice those skills within small group and learning station instructional opportunities. The teacher will then conduct informal assessment observations and weekly and unit assessments. Differentiation will take place where students' needs will be monitored in order for those students, if needed, to be placed into an intervention. Students placed into Reach into Phonics intervention will then focus on lessons and activities for explicit, sequential, and systematic instruction for grades K, 1, 2, and 3 foundational skills. Assessment and placement will occur. Progress monitoring takes place, and students will show success through summative assessments. We will now take a look at the scope of Reach into Phonics Foundations, beginning with kindergarten in the bottom left-hand corner. The kindergarten program of Reach into Phonics Foundations addresses and covers the kindergarten foundational skills. Grade 1 will cover kindergarten and first grade skills. Grade 2 will cover kinder, first, and second grade. Grade 3 will cover K, 1, 2, and third grade skills. And grades 4 through 6 will address 2nd through 5th grade foundational skills. Please turn with me in your Teacher's Edition to Roman numeral 3 through Roman numeral 5. This will highlight the table of contents that is found within your Teacher's Edition. Please take a few minutes to take a picture walk through the resources that are available within your Teacher's Edition. Some of the key features include the front matter components, which include this table of contents, a program overview, the Foundations of Reading section, the core lessons, the resources, instructional lessons, and assessments that are offered. We will now take a look at a slide that highlights a lesson overview. This is found in your Teacher's Edition on Roman numeral 10 and 11. You will note here the teacher instructional pages as well as the additional support materials that are utilized in the program. We will go into detail into each one of these resources in the next few slides. The first thing that we will see are the detailed lessons. These lessons incorporate explicit systematic instruction, and they incorporate routines that cover phonological and phonemic awareness, high-frequency words, phonics and decoding, and spelling. These lessons include teaching masters, sound spelling cards, e-visuals, decodable stories, and student practice pages. The next feature that you'll see are the detailed lesson instructions for teachers. These lessons include instructional routines to review and practice high-frequency words and phonics and decoding skills. Teaching masters are also included, and these provide examples and activities for review and practice of high-frequency words. In addition, you will have access to the online e-visual component. The e-visuals provide teachers with examples for use with phonics and decoding instruction and practice. Sound spelling cards are also utilized within the program, and these are used to help students associate sounds and spellings in order to blend words. This is an online resource. The decodable readers, also found online, are available for students. 16 decodable stories give students the opportunity to apply skills to connected text. In addition, student practice pages are also provided so that students may apply new knowledge of high-frequency words and phonics and decoding skills. These are also found within the online resource. This slide provides a brief overview of the assessment resources that are used within Reach into Phonics Foundations. We will take a deeper dive into each one of these assessment components a little bit later in our training today. We will now take a look at the teaching routines and strategies offered within our program. Reading routines that highlight phonological awareness, phonics and decoding, and spelling are located in your Teacher's Edition on Roman numeral 14 and 15. Here is one such reading routine that focuses on sound spellings using the sound spelling cards. In addition, high-frequency word routines are also provided. This one is highlighting the interactive word builder opportunity for students. We will now move into the Foundations of Reading resource that is found in Grade 3 of Reach into Phonics Foundations. This section addresses the needs of students who require instruction in foundational elements of reading, such as consonant sound spellings, short vowel sound spellings, and the most common high-frequency words. If students have not mastered any skills as shown in the Reach into Phonics Foundations placement test, this is the section that they will be placed in for instruction. The Foundations of Reading consist of high-frequency word instruction that includes a model lesson, word list, and sample sentences. The Phonics and Decoding lessons covering all consonants and short vowel sound spellings, as well as instruction and practice in blending words with short vowels. These skills are organized into 10 lessons as follows and are found on your Teacher's Edition page F2. We will now review the components that are utilized within the Foundations of Reading component of Reach into Phonics Foundations. First, you will notice the sound spelling cards. These are found online for both teacher and student. You will also see practice book pages that will allow students to reinforce skills that have been taught within the lessons. You will see the Phonics and Decoding transparencies that are found online, and the letter and word tiles that are available. These are also located in your Teacher's Edition on page F3. As we view the lesson path for Foundations of Reading, you will notice several resources that are utilized within these lessons. We will now take a deeper dive into each one of these lesson resources and the instructional model that is used. This is found in your Teacher's Edition on F8 and F9. Please feel free to tap Reading Routine number 1 on Roman numeral 6 in the front of your Teacher's Edition. This particular reading routine is introduced in Step 1 to develop phonemic awareness. You will notice here that the sound spelling card is not utilized because phonemic awareness focuses on the sound and not the written form. You will also notice that targeted words are provided for you to develop ease in the instructional model. Step 1, developing phonemic awareness. Insert the target sound in each blank. Tell students these words have s at the beginning. Say the 3 words shown: seed, sit, sack. Step 2. Tell students these words have s at the end. Say the 3 words: pass, mess, bus. Tell students, I will say a word. Listen for s. If you hear it at the beginning, raise one hand. If you hear it at the end, raise both hands. If you don't hear it at all, leave your hands down. Proceed with the provided words. Now, you choose a sound and letter and practice with a partner. Feel free to pause the video here to practice. We'll now move into the second step of Phonics and Decoding, introducing the sound spelling. You'll notice now that we have pulled the sound spelling cards for use within this step of the lesson. The purpose of Step 2, to introduce the sound spelling, is to help students connect sounds of English with their spellings, and this is where the sound spelling cards are first used. Start with the first sound spelling and go all the way through both Step 1, developing phonemic awareness that we just covered in the previous slide, and Step 2, introducing the sound spelling before moving on to the next sound. This will provide an excellent opportunity for practice. You'll notice in Step 2 that you'll introduce the sound spelling by displaying the picture-only side of the sound spelling card. Say the name of the picture, seed. Have students repeat. Say the target sound. Have students repeat. S. Turn the card over. Point to the spelling and name the spelling. Have students repeat. S. Say the first word. Ask students to tell if the spelling is at the beginning or the end of the word. Have them say the sound as they write the spelling in the air. Repeat for the other words. You may also cover the additional sound spellings that are provided on the sound spelling card, if appropriate. We will now take a look at the next aspect of phonics and decoding, associating sounds and spellings. This is found on Teacher's Edition pages F9 through F11. Once you have introduced students to each of the sound spellings, you will work within the section to provide them with the opportunity to associate the sounds and spellings. Just like we did in the introduction of sound spelling, we begin with Teach and Practice on page F9 in your Teacher's Edition. Below the image of the transparency, you will find the script for using this transparency. Use this script to model the instruction. If you are new to teaching systematic, explicit phonics, please feel free to practice as many times as you'd like. Modeling the steps are very important. We will now go into the progress monitoring portion. In this section, we will focus on the foundations of reading tested skill, which are phonics and decoding, spelling, word recognition, using the high-frequency words. Please note that this is found on page F28 in your Teacher's Edition. After completing all of the lessons found on F4 through F27, you will administer this check in your Teacher's Edition. You may turn to the test pages on T283 and 285, and then go to page T279. This is where you will find both the script for administering this assessment and the answer key for scoring it. Please feel free to pause the video and tab these pages. We will now move into the core lessons of Reach into Phonics Foundations for Grade 3. You will notice that these include 2 core components, the language and literacy lessons that begin on T2, and the independent reading and reading fluency lessons that begin on T10. We will now highlight the instructional path for Lesson 1. The first step that we will participate in is reviewing the high-frequency words. Students will review previously taught words and complete closed sentences. Our next step is for students to practice. Ask students, where does each new word fit in the chart? Say the word and spell it. Examples are provided, and spatial opportunities are also provided for students. Next, we will learn new words utilizing the How to Learn a New Word routine. We will go into this routine in the next slide. How to learn a new word. Using the word city. Look at the word. Listen to the word city. Listen to the word in a sentence. What does it mean? I live in a busy city. Say the word city. Spell the word C-I-T-Y. Say the word again, city. Please note that you will now have an opportunity to choose a high-frequency word and work with a partner. Practice teaching the high-frequency word routine to your partner. This is found in your Teacher's Edition on page T3. Now, when you're introducing a new word to your students, do you ever have a problem coming up with a good sentence or a student-friendly elaboration? Notice at the bottom of the page, you already have the syllable breakdown for each word, a sentence, and an elaboration. It's all provided for you. Also, notice the high-frequency word daily practice icon on the bottom left corner. Please turn to page 19 in the front of your Teacher's Edition and tab this page. You'll be referring to it often. We will now move into our phonemic awareness development lesson. This lesson utilizes the reading routine number 1 that we have seen before to introduce sound spellings. The first step in teaching phonics skills is teaching the sound spellings. We will be teaching each sound spelling step by step before moving on to the next sound spelling. We start with phonemic awareness. It's important to remember that phonemic awareness focuses on the sounds, not the print. So you will notice that we don't display the sound spelling card until step 2, as we saw with the foundations of reading lessons. In step 2, we will use the sound spelling card to teach the target sounds, and in step 3 and step 4, students will blend and spell sound by sound. The great thing about Reach into Phonics Foundations is that even if you've never taught phonemic awareness or phonics and decoding, you will know exactly what to say. The complete script is right here for you. For future reading, go ahead and tab page 6 in the front of your Teacher's Edition. Here you will find the purpose of each specific step in the sound spelling routine. Next, we will blend and spell whole words using the transparencies to model and practice. At the bottom of the page, you will again see the script to use with this transparency. Please note that these are here for your convenience and support. Also, notice that the language supports are provided throughout the lessons. Take a minute now to flip through the next couple of pages at the various types of transparencies you will be using for instruction. And remember, the transparencies refer to the digital version available online and not actual transparencies. We will now take a look at the next section of our core lessons, and this is the independent reading and reading fluency portion that begins on T10. Finally, students will be able to apply what they have learned within a decodable text. There are passages throughout the practice book and the Tear Out Fold Up books as seen here. Take a minute to look over the 4 different ways to read the text. On the left, you will see the goals for each reading. You will notice that read 1 is a whisper read, read 2 is a partner read 3 is a group read, and read 4 is a choral reading opportunity. In addition, you will also have a Concepts of Print mini lesson. At the end of each group of lessons, you will find a review for that group of lessons. This particular lesson review covers lessons 1 through 6, and again, a script is provided. Notice the letter tiles that will be used for this lesson. Take a moment to find where you will use these in the lesson. You will also review the high-frequency words, the phonics skills, and the application of independent reading, reading fluency, and review and spelling. We will now move into the full assessment suite for Reach into Phonics Foundations. Please note the page numbers that each assessment resource is located on in your Teacher's Edition. If you'd like, please tab each one of these sections. Concepts of Print on T263, Phonological and Phonemic Awareness on T264, the Decoding Word List on T277, and the Progress Checks 1 through 7 on T279. I have already mentioned the Concepts of Print and Phonological and Phonemic Awareness test as tools to use to inform instruction. These pages contain information regarding how to administer the assessments. These tools can be used initially with students when they are being placed into the program and also to monitor progress throughout the year or as post-test. We will look at the decoding word list in just a moment. Please turn to pages T288 and T289 to see progress checks as an example. The progress checks are important to measure students' cumulative decoding skills and knowledge of high-frequency words as they move through the program. These few slides will show examples of the Blackline Masters that are available within the assessment component. Here you will see the Concepts of Print assessment test and student profile, the Phonological and Phonemic Awareness Assessment Test and Student Profile. You will also see examples of the Phonics and Decoding Assessment, the Student Profile and Placement Chart, and the Placement Test for the Class Profile Chart. On T277 and 278, you will find the decoding word list. You will copy these lists one per student to give students a chance to apply the target phonics and decoding skills. You will give one copy of the list to the student to use. This list can be used for all students being assessed, since students use the list only to read. As the student reads the list aloud, teacher marks those words where the student makes a mistake on that student's copy. Look for patterns in the mistakes. If a student makes several mistakes in words with the same target skill, the student should have reteaching with the appropriate lessons. The decoding word list are a quick but powerful assessment. Now let's take a few minutes and view the resources that are available through myngconnect.com. You are able to access your Reach into Phonics Foundations Teacher's Edition for Grade 3 through the main webpage of Reach for Reading. Simply click on your grade level to pull up the Teacher's Editions available there. You will see the Reach into Phonics Foundations Grade 3 Teacher's Edition at the far right. You will then have full digital access of your third grade Reach into Phonics Foundations Teacher's Edition. You may also access additional resources in the Reach into Teaching section. Simply click on the additional resources that are found for Reach into Phonics Foundations. You are able to access, download, and print nearly every resource that is available here. Let's end with a few words of wisdom from G. Pinnell and I. Fontes. Phonics is extremely important, but not sufficient in and of itself. Since only about half of the words in the English language are phonetically regular, readers need a wide range of language knowledge and strategies to solve words. Thank you for joining our session today as we covered Reach into Phonics Foundations for Grade 3. Happy teaching!